It's fundamental. It's fundamental to what made this particular group of Warriors special. It's not just the rings. That's the obvious. They win a whole lot, but there's two different kinds of winning, okay? This is maybe a bad example, but it's the first one that pops to mind. Go back a couple years to when the Giants won 107 games. Did you, quote unquote, love that team? Did you love it? Did you really, really love it? Or were you still kind of like, wow, this is weird that they win. I don't even really know who these people are.
Yeah, more of that.
Busters out there. There's people named Brandon outside of that.
Had career years.
Right, yeah. Like, oh, gosh, this is, this platoon thing's kind of magical. Not that great. Why did you love this group of Warriors? Because they played with love. They like.
And they won.
Yes, of course they won.
Yeah.
But like you know this. One of my least favorite guys out there is Russell Westbrook. There's a bunch of reasons why, but one of the main reasons is I'm not really a huge fan of the way he plays. There's an angry streak there that I think leads to poor decision-making. I think it's also just nowhere near as aesthetically pleasing. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are like, and the way they play together, this is some of the most beautiful basketball that I have ever seen, and quite frankly, maybe just period. The most beautiful basketball that I've ever watched, this iteration of the NBA, certainly in my life. And Draymond in the middle as this Swiss Army knife who sets everything up on both ends of the floor. And I know a lot of fans like me, you watch that team and you're like, goodness, it's just interesting and beautiful and connected and it flows and all of these things. And now, what do we have now? I mean,
Draymond's never been a player who played with joy. Quote unquote joy. He plays with a certain edge and he plays with a certain.
I would argue he plays with both. You're not hard to find a Draymond smile on the court. You're also it's also easy to watch him get a tech and snarl at people. He plays with a lot of emotion.
Snarls, I would say snarls 9 and grins 1.
Maybe, but it fit with the larger picture of what was going on. And to me, Steph and Klay, that's always been one of the things that has made this group special. There was a joy that they played with that then got transferred to those of us who follow them. That's the essence of Warrior basketball. And now, outside of Steph Curry, everything feels angry. And I'm just going to flat out say that this is nowhere near as much fun. So when
was the last time Klay played with that joy that you're talking about? You'd have to go back to the Toronto series.
Yeah, but you see it in spots. It's not like it never shows up.
Right, but it's rare. I think it's few and far between, and it's because he's not playing as well as he used to. And so, yeah.
But aren't you defined by how you handle your hardest moments?
Yes. Okay. But I don't think that he is handling his hardest moments with the joy that you're talking about. The joy that you're describing, I think, is like 4 years removed. I don't think that we've had that joy.
You don't think when they won the title, he was experiencing, you don't think that was a joyous team?
Well, I think that there was a time that he had that joy, but to me, that title run was more about Wiggins, and it was, if we want to get to the Wiggins part of the conversation, Klay had some good games, but it was not the same level of Klay joy. It was not a Splash Brothers title.
I don't know. I mean, you and I had him on at the parade, and I'm a pretty happy guy.
And the parade.
He's a pretty satisfied guy.
I would hope he's happy at the parade.
But I mean, that whole run, I didn't sense anything negative coming out of Klay. Even when we would sit there and go, well, sure, he's not the guy that he was 5 years before. But, but of course he's not. I think in that moment, we actually looked at him and went, man, pretty amazing what he is. A lot of us didn't think he'd ever look like this again.
Right.
I'm not going to psychoanalyze the guy. I don't know what's at the root of it beyond the obvious. The obvious is you're getting older. You've been through a lot. You're not as good of a player. You hear people say that. You don't want to accept that. You get offended by that. Right. And here we are. I'm sure it's deeper than that. Like, that's just somebody sitting here watching the whole thing unfold. So I'm sure it goes way deeper than that. But I'm just telling you, man, the Warriors' likability right now is not what it was. And I think we wonder how a lot of you feel about, are you having fun? I know they're 8-9, so that's not as fun.
Right.
But I mean at a deeper level. Like, you and I had this conversation 2 weeks ago about the growing resentment of Klay Thompson or any of those players that are heading into the twilight of their career. Draymond also, when he gets suspended and things like that. And I'm like, boy, that's not a word I want to be using.
Resentment.
Resentment?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what's happening here? So I think it comes to mind today, especially because I found this question from Tim Kawakami to be completely innocuous. Like, that was not a threatening question at all. For those of you just joining us, here it is.
Kurt talks a lot about believing in his guys, especially the starting lineup. Won championship not too long ago. Having patience, letting guys kind of, find their game. How aware are you of that kind of patience, and how much do you value it?
What do you want me to bench me?
No. It's like that's.
You want to bench Wiggs?
I don't think I said that.
Okay. I mean, you can suggest it. It's fine. But, I mean, thanks, Steve, I guess. Like, I don't know, sometimes you earn these things like patience and time to find yourself. And I think history is on our side when it comes to that stuff.
You say that. Have you heard people say that?
No, I don't care what people say. Like, they don't do what we do. They can't do what they do. That's why they talk. Why would I? Like, come on. I don't care what people say at this point in my life. Next question.
Woo-hoo-hoo. It just gets me more and more angry every time I hear it.
Why? Now, why do you feel angry?
Because, whatever, sports angry.
No. But
I'm not going to go home and scream in the pillow.
No. But what
they
is
can't what we do. They can't do what we do.
Yeah. What's the emotional reaction you have?
They can't do what we do. It starts with him doing a Brian in Palo Alto at the very beginning of that. He goes, huh. Yeah. And Tim's asking about patience. And if you look at the numbers, Andrew Wiggins is 5th to last in the NBA in offensive win shares. He's ahead of only 4 other players, including Victor Wembanyama, by the way, who's dead last in the association in offensive win shares. And Klay is in the bottom 50. He's 450th in the league, which tells me that he's been bad in terms of offensively, which is what he does. So when Tim asks about patience and Steve Kerr's patience, and he goes, huh. And then he goes on to say, they can't do what we do. Yes, Klay, we can't do what you do. And we're fans of you doing what you do because you do what you do. And I want to do what you do, but I can't do what you do. And I don't know, Klay, if you saw the knockout today, I watched the whole thing and the warm-up shots and the knockout shots. We stink as a fan base. We're not good. We can't do what you do. So yes, Klay, we can't do what you do. But you know what? You can't do what you do or what you used to do. Mm-hmm. So let's move on from that part of it. He's so angry, and I'm glad you hit on this because why are you so angry, Klay? Why? I don't get it, Mark.
Well, and I never understand, or actually I should say it this way. I never enjoy when the conversation goes there.
You can't do what we do.
So
you can't. And I saw you. You can't even stop Guru in the post.
Duh. Right. Like, yeah.
You're no Kevon Looney.
But I mean, like, Klay, if I go home and the kids clog the toilet, I can't call you either. You can't fix the plumbing. And I said it yesterday, and I don't want this to come off as like snooty or arrogant. You can't do this. You can't talk like we talk.
Right.
We can't shoot like you shoot. You like, what is that? So what? Like, what's your point? What's your point? I never love it. And this goes in both directions. Okay. So media members and fans should not act like what is being done, and this is very New York, Boston, Oh, this dummy missed a free throw.
Right.
Yes, correct. Human beings miss free throws, even though no one's guarding them. Josh Allen throws picks. Yeah, yes.
You miss emails.
Yes.
All that stuff.
All of that stuff. So we should not do a victory lap and go crazy when mistakes are made on the playing field in sports. Conversely, professional athletes, don't do this. Don't do you can't do this and you shouldn't talk about this because you haven't done this before.
Right.
Draymond, new media. Just don't go there. It's disingenuous on both fronts. It's sort of an unfair way to end a conversation, quite frankly. It's like when you're texting with someone and they send you an emoji. It means the conversation's over. But the other person might be like, hang on, I'm not done here.
Right.
We haven't figured out our plans yet. So that's what like any athlete can do that. You don't have to be future Hall of Famer Klay Thompson. Who's the 12th guy on the bench in any given year? Okay?
Right.
I can't even come close to doing what Juan Toscano-Anderson does.
Corey Joseph.
Okay?
You know?
Right.
Guy Santos.
Whoever's in the G League.
Pick anybody.
Can't do that.
Nope.
Whoever's playing at Stanford and Cal. Can't do that. What's your point?
Right.
Because I tell you what we can do, we can watch, which is the fundamental piece of this entire show. We can watch. And without our eyeballs and our caring, you just a dude in a gym.
Exactly.
So I just wish for both sides. I wish the conversation would never go here. But the bottom line of the whole thing is, Klay, you're fooling no one with the I don't care what people say.
Exactly.
You fooled a total of 0 people on that one.
Right. And if you want to look at like any other pro sport in America, even look at the MLS, Major League Soccer, the top paid player in MLS is not making $55 million or $60 million because people don't watch them like we watch basketball. Or you take the top polo player or the top pickleball player or the top whatever pro sport player, they're not making what Klay makes because we watch Klay. And because we watch Klay and we care about Klay and we want to comment about Klay, that's why you make what you make. So, yes, we can't do what you do. And we also can't do what the pickleball player does, the polo player, the tag player, and all the rest of them. We can't do it, which is why we watch them, because we want to enjoy greatness when we can watch it.
I can't even change a tire. Like, I have no problem admitting the billion things in this life that I can't do.
Right.
So what? I don't. Why is that even relevant?
It's not. It's not. And
the bigger question is, dude, are you okay? You don't seem okay.
He's not okay.
It is for a long time now. You often don't seem okay, and this fan base actually wants that for you. You're creating a rivalry that doesn't exist. Tim Kawakami, 95.7 The Game, the guy in row 28.
Yeah.
That's not your deal. That's not your enemy. Everybody's pulling for you. Everyone's pulling for you. And so is Steve Kerr, and that is what Tim's question was. And by the way, tucked into this entire diatribe was actually kind of a blow-off of even that part of it. Do you hear the part where he's like, oh, thanks, Steve.
Right.
I'm supposed to thank Steve for sticking with me? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Dude, Klay and Wiggins right now, we live in an age of analytics. Not our fault. We didn't do this. But we live in an age of analytics, and they say that both of you are losing players right now. What is it you would like a coach to do with that? We know it better than anyone. He'll be here tomorrow. And guess what he's going to do? He's going to have his guys back.
Exactly.
Again.
Yeah.
For the millionth time.
Right. Even though he's number 450 out of 485 in win shares, offensive win shares, which tells me that he's not having a very good year. He's a negative player. He's one of only about 80 players in the association who are a negative in terms of offense. And Andrew Wiggins is at the bottom. So Yeah, Steve is going to come on and say, Klay's working his way through it, and I'm seeing signs that Klay's coming out of it, and he's taking better shots, and he's being much more disciplined in the shots he's taking. And you know what, Mark? A shooter shoots, and eventually these shots will fall, and he'll turn it around, and so will we. Steve, did we lose you? And,
no, I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's what I want. Are y'all having as much fun? And so let's go past the obvious. They're 8-9. That's not as much fun as when they're 15-2. So I get that. But do you root for these guys in the same way? Is the experience on winning nights, does that feel the same? I fell in love with the joy I saw on the floor when these guys played.
Right.
And right now, I am having to pull out a machete to hack through the anger to find the moments of joy with this basketball team. Is that just getting older? Is that all it is? Or do we have more at work here? I feel like there's more.
I think there's more. I do think it's getting older. And, you mentioned it before, getting older is not easy.
Not fun.
And you're kind of at the doorstep of what really happens. And I think
Don't tell me. I want to be surprised.
And I'll let you be surprised because
Okay,
I think I'm about 6 years older than you. And so those 6 years where you go from where you are to where I am, it definitely is a little bit more dramatic. And I know from where I am to where, and Steiny's not 6 years older than me. He's like 4 years older than me. But you get to that point and then the point beyond that, and it only gets worse.
When's he turning 60?
I think it's
we should do something.
Next year.
Next year?
Yeah.
Yeah. We should have a big golf tournament or something.
No doubt.
Don't you think?
I think so. I think so.
And it will be filled with joy the whole day.
Well, he's known for his joy.
He is.
Yeah.
He does.
Matt Joy Metz actually was his original last name, but he changed it. He does, but he's the same age as my middle brother.
When someone is that excited about having Thanksgiving by themselves,
oh yeah,
it just exudes joy.
Yeah, at 3:30, a 3:30 ham sandwich. It's either Joy Steinmetz or Matt Joy Metz, whichever one you prefer. But I do know that when you get older, joy is a little bit harder to come by.
Sure.
It takes a little bit more of a concerted effort. And in terms of the NBA life, Klay Thompson now is 34, and he knows he can't do what he used to do. He knows when he goes up to shoot that he's less likely to make it than he used to be. And that's got to be hard on you.
Yeah. I mean, we've all had the moments like this press conference, right? You ever do that? You just unload, and then like 3 hours later, go find that person.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry.
Dude, yeah.
Like I overreacted there.
Sure.
Like I just unloaded, and I don't even know where the hell that came from. I don't know what that was all about, but it certainly wasn't about you. So I know Tim Kawakami doesn't care. He doesn't need that from Klay.
No.
But if they were family members, that's what Klay would do today. Hey, dude, sorry about that. That's
my bad.
It was a complete and total overreaction. Okay, Klay? I wonder if you get that. Wax in San Mateo. Hey, Wax, what's going on? You're on with Willard and Dibs. What you doing?
Hey, guys. I appreciate the candidness of the segment because I share a lot of the same feeling. I didn't think they should have extended Klay or Draymond before the year, and the most joy I had was when they both got ejected, and I got to watch Mr. Budzinski bring some joy back to their playing style. And I like Chris Paul more now than I ever have, and if you told me that when I started the season, I would have punched myself.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand him. And now it's like, get him on the court.
Isn't that wild? It's so wild that Chris Paul has joined this team, and within 4 weeks, everybody's pointing the finger at Klay Thompson and Andrew Wiggins, and they're like, the Chris Paul guy, he's fine. We're not worried about him anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Wax. Appreciate it. We're getting closer to being able to say Pajemski as a group. We're getting closer.
Yep.
I remember before Thanksgiving it was Krasinski, like the Unabomber or whatever.
Pajowski.
Pajowski. And then now we've got, I think it was Pazinski. We're getting closer to Pajemski. My goal is Christmas. That's when the NBA season starts. I'd like everybody, you've all got an assignment, by Christmas, Pajemski. It's actually not that, like most people are saying it in a much harder way than what it actually is.
Pajowski?
No, Pajemski. There's an M in there. It's Pajemski.
Pajowski? I like Pajowski.
Krzyzewski? Is that how you say it? Anyway, I don't know. That's just my reaction to the whole thing. Is I feel like a lot of what we hear and see from Klay Thompson is unnecessarily frustrated and angry. And here's the phrase that's really, really hard to say. But it feels to me a lot of the time like Klay Thompson is living in the past. That's what's hard.
I think he's living for the future. I think he's trying to.
What do you mean by that?
He's trying to get to his next contract. And I think that he's trying to shoot his way.
That's interesting.
He's trying to play his way into that next deal. And because he's not doing that, he's getting frustrated. That's what I see.
And that is part of Kendra Andrews' report. Kendra reports that Klay right now, that this is wearing on him, the contract, which I find odd. I know I haven't lived in that world, so I guess this is just normalcy. But when you've made a gajillion dollars, why?
Like $200 million.
What? Why are you so stressed about the next one? That can't be that stressful. I know the ego.
Boats aren't cheap.
The ego, I get it. And the extending of the career. And can you be a lifetime warrior? Okay. But is it that stressful? I mean, it's not like the Warriors aren't going to offer you a deal. They'll offer you something. But is it going to, like, oh, we couldn't take it because it's so low that it's like disrespectful?
Disrespectful.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It feels like he's always mad. And even the answer that he gave yesterday with regard to, like, I've earned this. And hey, sons, here's 4.
Yeah.
This is all the past.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
$266 million, by the way, career after this year.
Sounds stressful.
Yeah.